All right, our last story of 2019. Now, the year delivered plenty of incredible sporting memories, but watching Eliud Kipchoge cross the finish line in Vienna to become the first runner in history to complete a marathon in under 2 hours was something many Kenyans will never forget. The return of the Safari Rally to the high-profile FIA World Rally Championships after 17 years absence was one of the sporting highlights of 2019. Now, our sports reporter Chris Migwambo took a journey down the memory lane to highlight some of the biggest sports events of the year. Take a look.
Much is given, equally much more is expected. 2019 gave Kenyan sportsmen and women the biggest number of sporting events, and these athletes did not disappoint, ranging from the emotions in Vienna, Austria, to the pain and joy in Chicago and New York. The suspense in Paris to the heat in Doha, the humiliation in Japan to the top-level performance in Rabat, Morocco, and finally, the pride in Cairo. To begin with, Kenya hosted the first ever European Tour event, dubbed the 2019 Magical Kenya Open, from the 14th to the 17th of March, with players converging at Karen Country Club. 22-year-old Italian Guido Migliozzi stormed to victory to claim his first European Tour title. Kenyan professional golfer Simon Gige was first Kenyan overall, followed by Justus Madoya in the second position. Earlier this month, German international Esther Henseilet won the Kenya Ladies Open, played at the Rare Vipingo in Mombasa, with commendable results coming from Kenyan duo of Wafula Naomi and Shah Bavi. On March 23rd this year, former WBC Super Bantamweight champion Fatuma Iron Fist Zarika beat her Zambian challenger Catherine Fury to retain her title. Zarika won after a 3-0 unanimous decision following the fight that was hosted at the KICC in Nairobi. On September 3rd, Ruben Dolo was elected unopposed as Kenya Professional Boxing Commission chairman in the federation's polls held at the Nyayo Stadium Gymnasium. In the same month, Kenya was readmitted to the World Rally Championship following the inclusion of Safari Rally in the WRC 2020 calendar. The FIA announced the 2020 WRC calendar following an e-vote by the World Motorsports Council that week. The 2020 calendar comprises of 14 rounds, and Kenya is scheduled to host the event from July 19, 2020. October 12, 2019 will be a memorable day to all Kenyans and forever will be the biggest sporting event of the year as Eliud Kipchoge became the first person in recorded history to run a 26.2-mile marathon in less than 2 hours. The Kenyan runner clocked in at 1 hour, 59 minutes and 40 seconds at the Ineos 159 Challenge in Vienna, Austria.
140, the unofficial time.
There's his wife.
2 days later, Kenyan runner Bridget Kosgei broke a long-standing world women marathon record by winning the Chicago Marathon in 2 hours, 14 minutes and 4 seconds. Kosgei bested the previous mark of 2 hours, 15 minutes and 25 seconds, set by Britain's Paula Radcliffe in London 16 years ago. In September, another Kenyan, Geoffrey Kamworor, became the fastest man to run a half marathon after setting the world record at the Copenhagen Half Marathon in a time of 58 minutes and 1 second, shattering the previous world record by 17 seconds. In October, Kenya's Ruth Chepngetich won the women's marathon at the IAAF World Athletics Championship in Doha as 28 of the 68 starters withdrew in grueling conditions in Doha. Chepngetich took the first gold of the championships in 2 hours, 32 minutes and 43 seconds. Women's 3,000-meter steeplechase world record holder Beatrice Chepkoech capitalized on searing pace to beat her opponents on her way to winning gold medal for Kenya in a championship record time of 8 minutes and 57.84 seconds. Kenya again made history at the Worlds when Kenya's Helen Obiri retained her title in the women's 5,000 meters in a record time of 14 minutes, 26.7 seconds. Timothy Cheruiyot of Kenya won the men's 1,500 meters world title after leading from pillar to post in a time of 3 minutes, 29.26 seconds, while defending champion Concessus Kipruto won the steeplechase by 1/100th of a second. The Kenyan team to the IAAF World Championship finished second on the medal table with 5 gold, 2 silver and 4 bronze medals. In June this year, Kenya Sevens reached their first Cup quarter-final at the 2018-2019 season at the HSBC World Sevens Series after beating Wales 26-21 at the Paris Sevens. The win also meant Kenya Sevens survived relegation. In October, the Kenya Morans survived a second-half scare from South Africa to edge the Blitbox 1914 in an entertaining Safari Sevens final played at the RFU ground. Elsewhere, Kenya's national men's and women's sevens teams qualified for the Rugby Sevens at the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo. Kenya Sevens Shujaa defeated Uganda 31-0 in South Africa to qualify directly for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, while Kenya Lionesses qualified after reaching cup final at the Africa Sevens in Tunisia, even though they lost 15-14 to South Africa women rugby team. In June, Kenya national football team Harambee Stars took part in the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations in Cairo, Egypt, after missing out in action for 15 years. In the African football fiesta, Kenya faced Africa champions Algeria, losing 2-0. They then beat Tanzania 3-2 in a thrilling East African derby before going down 3-2 Senegal and bouncing out of the tournament at the group stages. In August 12th, Football Kenya Federation parted ways with Harambee Stars coach Sebastian Minye. This came just a week after Kenya was bundled out of the African Nation Championship qualifiers by Tanzania. FKF later appointed Francis Kimanzi as the new coach of Harambee Stars, assisted by KCB coach Zedekiah Ziko Otieno. Last month, the national women's football team Harambee Starlets were crowned winners of the 2019 Sekafa Championship after stunning holders Tanzanians Kilimanjaro Queens 2-0 in a final played at the Chamazi Stadium, Dar es Salaam, lifting their first ever regional title. On July 7th, Kariobangi Sharks registered a historical win over English side Everton after beating them 4-3 on post-match penalties. In August, sports gaming giant SportPesa cancelled all sponsorships in the country. Earlier this month, the Sports Disputes Tribunal cancelled the Football Kenya Federation elections, which were to be held on 7th December this year. In basketball, Kenya came short at the finals of the FIBA African Championship in Bamako, Mali, losing 82-61 to the Democratic Republic of Congo, despite starting the game well and leading at halftime. In August, under the guidance of coach Paul Bitok, the Malkia Strikers beat Cameroon 3-1 to retain the women's volleyball title and take gold in the hotly contested final of the All-African Games in Rabat, Morocco. In September, Kenya's national Tong Il Mudo team clinched the second position out of the 19 countries that took part in the World Martial Arts held in South Korea. Kenya ended the event in emphatic fashion after finishing second behind champions Philippines with 9 medals that included 2 gold, 2 silver and 5 bronze medals. All said and done, once all these athletes had represented Kenya in blood, sweat and tears, they took that final flight back to Nairobi, and what a sigh of relief when they touched down at JKIA as champions and heroes. Goodbye 2019, you've been so good to us. Unfortunately, we shall never meet again. Chris Migwambo, Switch TV from the Nyayo Stadium in Nairobi.